Special thanks goes out to Hoppe's number 9, Breakfree CLP, and Birchwood Casey. So basically, the concept of this idea came because I'm standing here in the shop and I happened to be looking over into the gun cleaning department, and I was checking out the Hoppe's number 9. I started thinking that it's pretty amazing that throughout all the years that we've been here, we've always sold Hoppe's number 9 gun cleaning products, and I've always used them, and it has such an iconic scent to it. Like, everybody who uses it knows it. You know, anybody that grew up with their dad or their grandpa cleaning their guns and smelling that Hoppe's number 9 solvent knows exactly what I'm talking about. So I just thought it would be a good time to make a video about it and kind of pay a little respects to Hoppe's number 9. I did some research afterward, found out that Hoppe's number 9 has been around since 1903. So it's been, you know, over 100 years that the product has been in use. And I also have some more modern stuff, fairly modern stuff, on the table. Breakfree, which is my personal favorite gun cleaning solvent to use. As a hunter, I feel like it serves my needs better where my guns are dealing with, you know, condition issues like moisture, salt, spray, snow, things like that. I just feel like it's easier for me to combine the 2 bottles solvent and oil combination into 1 bottle, and so did the US military, and that's why this is actually used by the US military. I was trying to find exactly when it was created and invented. It was hard to get an exact date, but it seems to be somewhere between 1980 and 1985, and I believe it's still used today. Works, you know, in a wider range of temperature testing, you know, to the negatives, to the high temperatures as well. All right, and it serves the military's needs. But I'm gonna go down a breakdown one by one of when and why I use each of these products and how they can help you out. What you see here on the table is what I use personally to clean my guns, as well as if a customer brings us a gun for cleaning, we would use the same on our clients' guns. I would categorize gun cleaning into 3 separate departments, or categories rather. Standard range cleaning, go to the range, shoot a couple hundred rounds, you come back, clean the gun, you know, with a standard field stripping. Okay, you clean the gun and put it away. Number 2 would be, for us being on Long Island where we do a lot of duck hunting, you're dealing with salt water, salty air, okay, marsh grass, mud, all kinds of extra, you know, conditions, which I would consider extreme conditions. We take it a little step further, okay, with that kind of cleaning. And then number 3 would be rust removal. All right, now everything you see here on the table is really what we use. All right, I don't really get that fancy. All right, we got Hoppe's number 9 and Hoppe's number 9 oil. We got the solvent and we got the oil. Standard cleaning kit. Okay, 12 gauge bore snake. Then we got Breakfree. This is powder blast. This is CLP, aerosol, CLP pump spray, and then I threw in some gun scrubber from Birchwood Casey as well. And I'm gonna go down the line and explain when I use each product and why. So for a standard range cleaning, that's gonna be the easiest. If you use a bore snake, like one of these, all right, they come caliber specific. They make them from 22 to 9mm to 30-06, 12 gauge, 10 gauge, every caliber you can think of, these bore snakes are made. All right, and basically what it is a shoelace with a brass tip on the end of it, which adds for weight. And this braided piece of cloth, it's a synthetic, and it has metallic bristles embedded into the cloth. These are extremely long lasting. All right, put some gun solvent either in the barrel or on the bore snake, and you snake it through the barrel from one end to the other. You basically take the shoelace and you feed that little brass weight down to the bottom, and you pull the snake out the other side, and literally within 1 to 2 swipes the barrel's clean. Is it going to be as clean as using one of these kits where you have the cotton patches and you can really get like a super tight fit and keep changing the patches, you know, until it comes out squeaky clean? No, it's not going to come out that, you know, meticulously clean. But if you're like me where you're hunting, you know, a couple times a week, using these patches that come in these kits, you know, I'll take one out so you can see it. It's like a little 1-inch square. Probably seen these before. They come in every size. This kit happens to be a 22 caliber rifle kit. You know, it's, you just basically keep swapping out these patches until it comes clean. Now for our clients, when they're expecting a certain level of cleanliness, you know, they're paying for a service, we're going to use the patches. We're going to make sure it comes out real squeaky clean. On my deer hunting rifle, where I prefer to have, you know, maximum accuracy, it's a gun I don't really shoot that often. I'll shoot it maybe once before the season just to make sure the scope's sighted in, and then I'll, you know, hopefully get to shoot it during the season at a deer. Okay, you know, sometimes less than 8 shots are fired out of that gun for the whole season. Okay, I'll take a little extra time and use the kit. All right, my shotgun, where I'm using it every couple days, I snake it. All right. Me personally, for general maintenance, I like Breakfree. All right. Not this one. This one, the CLP. Okay. Stands for cleaner, lubricant, and preservative. It's a 2-in-1. It'll clean your gun. It'll act as an oil to keep the parts lubricated. Okay. And it's pretty long lasting. It's a rather thick viscosity, meaning you coat your gun with this stuff inside and out, it tends to last on the metal parts without evaporating quickly, which adds to its, you know, preservation characteristics. Hoppe, and also it doesn't have a lot of smell, which, yes, you know, Hoppe's number 9, if you talk to people that have used it, it's a very familiar smell. It's actually a very nostalgic smell. They even make Hoppe's number 9 air fresheners you can hang from your rearview mirror in your truck. If you wanted to have your truck smell like Hoppe's number 9, you could. That's all fine and great, but at some point, if you're cleaning guns all day like we are, it could get a little nauseating. It can give you a headache. All right, it has a very strong ammoniated smell. If you're cleaning guns in a small apartment, you know, you'll stink out your whole apartment, piss off your wife or girlfriend. Breakfree is going to be better for, you know, that kind of purpose. If you don't really care about smell, you have open space, or you're going to do a quick cleaning in your garage or something like that, Hoppe's is great. It's a great cleaner. It's a thinner viscosity, so it's more of a gun solvent. It's not as, doesn't really have as much, you know, oil or preservation characteristics to it. I've noticed it's very good with rust removal. With a little bronze toothbrush that you could get in your gun cleaning department. You work at, you know, some rust with the Hoppe's number 9. I've noticed to be more effective than the Breakfree. So because the Hoppe's number 9 is strictly a gun solvent, it's just a cleaner, it doesn't have the oil or the preservation characteristics to it, you have to follow up with a second bottle. This is Hoppe's number 9 lubricating oil. Standard gun oil that you'll find anywhere you go, okay, will also work. But I've noticed, like, if you squirt some of that on any of the moving parts, you know, say you're dealing with a pump action shotgun, you work the slide, okay, you'll notice a considerable difference, you know, before and after. The gun will feel a lot smoother, okay. And then I always give the gun a complete wipe down on the outside with either a silicone cloth, or if you don't have one, you could just use a paper towel, and give the gun a nice wipe down before you store it. Okay. These 2 bottles, you do have to be careful when you're using these on certain parts of the gun. I would say that I generally avoid using this stuff with the exception of trigger assemblies. Trigger assemblies, you know, if you pull out the trigger assembly on any gun, this happens to be a Benelli shotgun, but they're all the same, whether it's a 22 or a shotgun. Okay, when you pull this mechanism out, you're gonna have a ton of springs, pins, a lot of small parts. Don't suggest taking them apart. You will also notice that that area of the gun tends to get very dirty. You'll have powder residue, you know, burnt powder residue. You'll have unburnt powder residue, little flakes of powder that never burnt properly, and just general, you know, buildup from shooting the guns. It gets everywhere inside there. This is highly pressurized aerosol solvent. It's similar to almost like a brake cleaner. Wear gloves when using it. Hold it over a garbage pail or something like that and spray your trigger assembly, and you'll see all that gunk running out, and then after maybe 20 seconds it's all dry, which is nice because it doesn't leave everything all gloppy and gooey. You could go back, finish up with a solvent like Hoppe's or Breakfree with a toothbrush and scrub it out to get it further cleaned. These two products here are basically the same product. You got Breakfree Powder Blast, which has a little bit of like a citrus smell to it, I find. And the gun scrubber, to me, doesn't have as much of that smell. The products are essentially the same thing. You know, if we're cleaning guns downstairs at our workbench and I run out of this, I'll grab this. If I don't have this, I'll grab this. And they're almost identical as far as the purpose that they serve. But these two products, although similar, you know, I do use them differently with different situations. I may be coming at it from, I think, as a hunter, where my guns are facing more condition issues than a normal range guy. It's probably why I gravitate more towards CLP, because if I'm out hunting and I'm dealing with rain or snow or salt, it's nice to know that my gun has a layer of protection on the metal parts from the last time I clean it that's long lasting, that'll last me through my hunt. And then when I go to clean the gun again, I only have to use one bottle. I don't have to go with the Hoppe's and then have the other bottle to go with it. It's just combining two things into one. Alright, and as long as I don't let my gun get to the point where it has rust on it, I don't really have to mess with the Hoppe's and the smell of the Hoppe's. You know, so this is my personal opinions. I like Breakfree for that reason. If I was probably just a regular range guy, I may find myself gravitating more towards Hoppe's. Hoppe's, solvent, and oil combo. All these products are good products. You know, if I ran out of this and I had to use these two, I'm fine with it. If I ran out of this and had to go with Breakfree, doesn't really matter. One final tip I could give, again, this is my personal opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but when it comes to gun solvents and oils, I tend to stay away from aerosols. Most of this stuff is gonna hurt like hell if it gets in your eye, especially gun scrubber and powder blast. It's happened to me before. I mowed down a bunch of people to get to this bathroom sink and I had to flush my eye out with water. But any of these solvents you don't want to get in your eye, and I would say stick with just like a standard bottle or one of these pump sprays, okay? Because you can't really control how fast this is going to shoot out, and if it hits a metal part and bounces back in your eye, it's going to hurt. All right, and it's pretty much it. Also, you're gonna get more in, for your money, because the whole thing is filled up to the top with solvent versus having some propellant fill up some of the space inside the bottle, which you're paying for. You just get more for your money that way. And I don't feel, with the exception of these two, where the main function of how they work is based on the high pressure spraying action. I would say it's not really necessary for any gun solvents or oils to have the aerosol unless you have a very specific application for it. They do come with like a little straw, and you could get into some of the hard to reach places, I guess, but I find that I barely ever use those straws. And with the standard squeeze bottle, I could get into all the hard to reach spots anyway. Another tip that I'm going to give is try to buy a cleaning kit that your local gun shop stocks and sells. Because when you come in for accessory tips, like for instance this tip, this bristle is for 44 and 45 caliber. Okay, the thread type works with Hoppe's cleaning kits. If you buy another brand cleaning kit, the tips might not be compatible with one another, and now you have to buy another cleaning rod to fit the new bristle. Now you're duplicating the stuff that you have. When using gun scrubber or powder blast or any similar product where you have this high pressurized jet spray with very strong chemicals, these chemicals seem to be stronger than the Breakfree and the Hoppe's number 9. Avoid getting it on plastic, rubber, camouflage finishes, and wood. Basically, the only thing that this is good for is metal parts. It won't destroy bluing, but I wouldn't get it on a very high-end gun finish, like if you have an expensive, Weatherby with a mirror finish on it, or basically, like, if the metal parts are blued finish and they're inside the gun where you're not going to see them, it's going to be fine. If you have stainless steel parts, those are not finished. Those are basically raw stainless steel parts. That's not going to hurt it. I wouldn't get this on any parts of your gun that are on the outside, because if it stains your blued finish or strips some of your blued finish off, you're going to be pissed, especially if it's an expensive gun. That's why I pretty much exclusively use it for internal parts. So to conclude the video really wasn't about which product is better than the other. Is Breakfree better than Hoppe's, or is Hoppe's better than Breakfree? It's really just to kind of break down, why I use some products in certain situations and why I don't. Okay, and I think that they're both good. I think that they both have a use. Another tip of why I like to use Hoppe's number 9 is it seems to be a pretty good penetrant. So if you have a rusted screw that you can't get out, you could soak some Hoppe's number 9 in there and let it creep into the threads, and you could break free some loose screws. I'll be honest, the stuff you could get in the hardware store, the penetrating oil, okay, I can't remember the brand, maybe PB Blaster I think is the name of it. I find that does work better, but if you don't have it, you could use Hoppe's number 9 as a backup penetrating oil or solvent, okay, because it is a thin viscosity and it tends to want to creep into the threads, whereas the Breakfree, it's just too thick. It's not gonna work its way into those areas the way you want it to. So again, another pro and a con for each type of solvent, and you really should try them both out and figure out which ones work for you. And each person is entitled to their own opinion. I use it all.